Okay, that about the Chinese is interesting. Also, the interesting thing is if you're going to import all these Chinese workers, why don't you just start using the white South Africans that you keep on saying aren't allowed to do it because it's all black empowerment now, you know? Even the Indians are suffering a bit under that. Colored people a bit as well, you know? Might just as well use these people. Seriously. South Africa, really bad. Let's see what else is going on here. Land grab, chaos and violence. You have it. There you have it. Land grab, chaos and violence. Parkwood, Cape Town. Okay, so in Cape Town, occupiers attempted to take a piece of land. Police removed the structures with rubber bullets. It's now becoming a big problem in South Africa. This is going to drive the whole middle class away, and all the wealthy, affluent people that can build the country up as well. Okay, and all they're saying is action should be taken. That's it. Nothing else is being said about it. Yawn, double yawn, triple yawn. Yeah. Ministers of Sport call for suspension of rugby commentators. Whatever. Someone was ranting about something, maybe some quota thing, you know, saying that the player is subpar, and the whole thing got totally bloated, pulled out of proportion. Burning of higher education institutions starting early this year. There you go. There you go. That is the stuff we're talking about. You know? The burning of higher education institutions. You're talking tertiary institutions here, you know? People in South Africa already not on par anymore with the world when it comes to education. They really need to get a grip. This is bad news. On Friday, students burned down the main campus of a college in the black area. They were apparently upset because they burned down the whole main campus. Yo. That is quite funny, you know. I mean, the students are there to study. The students are there to learn. But now they just burned down the campus. And now they're going to protest for the fact that they don't have a campus, you know, and the government is not providing enough tertiary education for them. You know, that is the hypocrisy that's happening here. It is pathetic to the nth degree. Really. I mean, I think white people have to start protesting as well. We never do. You know, colored people for that as well. Some of them do, but not really that much. Indians as well. Start protesting like all these black groups do as well, you know. Start burning stuff. Be interesting if they do stuff like that, you know. And whole South Africa will fall apart. They are apparently upset because their bursaries for the year, they're demanding the resignation of the Chancellor, or the Principal, or whatever. So, other students tried to carry on with classes, but students travelled by bus from the main campus and then intimidated the other students. Happy days. Welcome to reality in South Africa. You know? And then they get a job. The qualifications are utterly useless because instead of learning anything, you know, they were all learning about being activists, you know, and fighting for their civil rights instead of fighting for education and a vocation. Yeah. Burning everything down. It's like they were burning down a lot of town halls last year in South Africa. That was a big shock to me, but it's happening. So these people, because they don't get the bursaries, they just go totally nuts and burn the place down. Now what now? The place is burned down. You're not going to get education anymore. Well done. Well done. Very well done. And now all the money needs to be used to go and build the campus again, so you're still not getting your bursaries. You know, that is the mentality we are developing here in South Africa when it comes to higher level education. That is real common sense there, right there. Real common sense. You know, get that Boolean logic going, get that algebra logic going, calculus logic. Nothing, absolutely none. Okay, so we know the true reason for this action lies in the fact that the mid-year exam is starting in a week or two from now. There is an exam permission policy from the Department of Higher Education which is based on 80% compulsory class attendance and a 40% academic average. Fair enough, in all subjects, so what? Students who does not meet those requirements are not allowed to write exams, and that is fair, good for them. That is the way it should be. Okay, so in that lie the real reason for burning down higher education institutions every year. Only this year it started rather early. It's quite funny, you know, it's because 80% actually of people that sign up to go to university or a very good technical college in South Africa drop out. Not a lot of people actually pass. They think it's all going to be easy, you know, like in school you get spoon-fed everything, right? But in university and in technical colleges and places like that, you know, they just like go through a book like a parrot and expect you to do your effort, you know, and your work. It's way different from school. You know, and if you don't adapt to that, then you just drop out really quickly. So, yeah. It happens towards the end of the third term when quota admission students into universities for medical and engineering degrees realize that they are not going to make it to the exams. There you have it. So that is really what's happening. We already know at least 80% of people do not finish their first year or first 1.5 years in university or in big colleges in South Africa. So they realize it, and then what they do is they just go and ruin the whole place because they say there's discrimination, it's too difficult, you know, the subject matter is not being explained well enough. But in the past everybody dealt with it and it went quite well, you know, and you got really good people out of universities and colleges, so you know, that's on the people, that is not on the education system. And burning stuff down and making it miserable for everybody else, you know, just freaking end it right there. You know, if you want to ruin your own life, that's your problem. You know, don't ruin other people's lives. Burning and vandalism starts usually blamed on fees must fall. Decolonization of education, yeah, that's always one playing the race card. Afrikaans must fall, yeah, hating the Dutch Afrikaans language, seeing it as subjugation for them. Black people really just need to get over this kind of stuff, in the sense that they're stuck on it. You know, if you're stuck on it, that is a bad space to be. Get over it. You know, be like the Japanese. You know, the Chinese for that matter. You know, getting on with stuff. So now it's bursaries. So last year it was fees must fall, you know, get rid of the Afrikaans language. Although all the universities where Afrikaans was done was Afrikaans institutions from way back. You had English and black institutions everywhere else. But more and more black and English people came to Afrikaans institutions as well over the years, and basically a lot of the education has switched over to English. For instance, I was in Afrikaans university, but every single lecture was in English and all my subject matter was in English as well. So there's a lot of that. You know, so I don't know why they're really complaining, you know, because probably 80% of the education is in any case not done in Afrikaans, so what's the problem? You know, just instead of saying Afrikaans must fall, why don't you just say, you know, Xhosa and Zulu must rise? What's the problem? Be proud of your own languages instead of dragging everything else into the mud. Just being stupid, really. In the meantime, English flourish. Quite funny. Yeah. And now everybody's basically saying yawn, double yawn, triple yawn, it's always the same crap. Students are becoming useless in South Africa. They're getting a reputation for it. I bumped into some guy, I was skiing in Switzerland, and he was telling me, some old dude, like in his late 60s or early 70s or whatever. And he's a veterinary professor from, I think, like King's College or something, one of these fancy colleges here in the UK. Maybe even Oxford or Cambridge or something like that, but a very, very well-renowned university professor. He told me, back in the day, you're talking about the 1970s and 80s, maybe even the 90s, Onderstepoort, which is the veterinary department for the University of Pretoria in South Africa, used to be the top research facility in the world for veterinary services. In the world, top rated, number one. And he said now, you're talking like what, a year ago, he's saying now the degrees there are not even acknowledged by the British Veterinary Sciences. It's not even acknowledged. He's saying it's substandard. That's how far South Africa is falling. Get a grip. Wake up. If the main institutions don't want to protect themselves, you have to go private. You just have to. For that, the people who have the resources have to start stepping up. Now it's difficult for the middle class, upper middle class to do it, but the people who have the big businesses need to help. Otherwise, if everything gets dragged down to the bottom, then everybody's selfish. And nobody's going to invest in a country like that. That's the other thing. Wake up, people. The gravy train, we're getting... all the gravy is now almost gone. There's almost no more gravy gone, Thing of dragging people up, it is gone. Now you need to step up and do the effort. Unfortunately. You can't look at the previous generation's development and all the infrastructure that was built 30, 40 years ago and the reputations from 30, 40 years ago. Those people are gone now. It's up to the next generations. And if they're not willing to do it, that's it. The rich people will leave in any case. They send all their children to the US, the UK and Australia, Switzerland, Germany, France. The rest of the people, they need to deal with this crap. Okay, so it's just basically saying Front National, that is like some Afrikaans party in South Africa. I'm not sure if they may be a student party. Either way, I don't know a lot about them at all, but I think they are fairly conservative. They focused on Afrikaans people's issues, I assume. And they're just basically saying, yeah, it's always the same, What now? Basically saying, Afrikaans-speaking white South African students are also suffering because of the chaos that all of these other groups of people are doing. And that is true. That is actually true. Maybe white Afrikaans-speaking South Africans should start protesting, See how other groups start reacting when they do it as well. It would be something new. That's all I can really say. Yeah. See here.